I have a presentation today. We are broadcasting here live from Rostock, and basically we tried to show in the background the cranes, how they are produced on our test field, but we just realized that the sun is very bright in Rostock. Usually it never rains, and therefore my face was not to be seen. Therefore we changed everything, and therefore we only have the background, the posters. But I prepared a presentation to show you what we are doing here in Rostock. And I picked one of my hard pieces here, which is the mobile harbor crane, the Liebherr mobile harbor crane. And I just want to briefly go through and show what the kind of versatile port around this machine is. So as said, we are here live in Rostock, where we produce the cranes, from my perspective, and also I think from the perspective of many other people, the most beautiful and best cranes in the world. As said, I picked the mobile harbor crane, the Liebherr mobile harbor crane. And what I want to say in this presentation, the first outline here would be I show the applications. So what are you doing with this crane? How is this of benefit for your port? Secondly, the applied modularity. This means how can you adapt the crane to your needs at the port, size-wise, maneuverability-wise, space-wise, and also the vessels that you want to, or the cargo that you want to handle. And one thing which we are very proud of, just a few slides, Liebherr made in Germany. The cranes, I will come later to this, are still engineered and produced in Germany. And I want to show you a brief overview about this. So we start with the applications the machine was made for. So the mobile harbor crane, as you see here, is capable of doing container handling, not just from small barges, but also for the very, very large or ultra large container vessels. With our LHM 800, which is the biggest machine that we have, we are capable of serving vessels with 22 rows across, which are not yet the biggest anymore, but used to be the biggest at the time where the 800 has been developed. So of course you can do with this machine fully automatic spreaders, semi-automatic spreaders, single lift, twin lift, and of course every kind of applications. The latest ones are maybe bulk containers, which you can rotate. So this crane is capable of doing all this. With the same machine, you can also do the bulk handling. You see here an LHM 550 using a clamshell grab and operating into a hopper. So of course we have several crane sizes, from very small cranes up to very big cranes, very large cranes. With the biggest one, the 800, which I have mentioned, we are capable, and we have seen already, handling rates up to 2,300 tons per hour of material. So of course depends on the density and what kind of material, and for sure it's a peak number, but in average you can easily use or achieve numbers of 1,500 to 1,800 tons, example coal. Various types of grabs, of course, we are using these machines not just in dry bulk handling, but also with orange peel grabs in scrap handling, and every kinds of other grabs that you can use, not just mechanical, but also electro-hydraulic. Here you see this, it's, as said, the same machine in general cargo handling. So every kind of cargo that you can imagine, what you basically want to bring from the shore to the vessel or the other side around, can be made with this machine, with one machine. This is the versatility I talked about from the beginning. So one major point here, the lifting attachments can be changed very easily. So you can change from hook to the grab to the spreader within approximately, depends a bit, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. So you're capable of changing to every kind of situation you face in the port. Here you see our 800. This is Port of St. Petersburg. Very nice picture, because you not only see the mobile harbor crane in the front, but also here, you see my mouse, you see the ship-to-shore cranes that we are producing as well. So it's a nice combination of Liebherr equipment. This crane is the biggest, strongest crane in the market, in the mobile harbor crane market, with a maximum lifting capacity of 308 tons, metric tons on the hook. And this means for the port that you are complete different new levels in the port. So I know when we compare mobile harbor cranes, I don't know how familiar you are with mobile harbor cranes, but if you hear 308 tons, it seems, compared to a crawler, I know that somebody will say, okay, my crawler has 600 tons, but we're talking here about 308 tons at 60 meters outreach. And this crane is still capable of doing 200 tons at nearly 30 meters outreach, means it can handle this heavy load directly above the vessel, which is totally different to a crawler, which has 600 tons, but only up to 3 meters, for example. So this is the largest one. One major point here, if you have two of them, you can even combine them and just double the lifting capacity of these cranes. And I've made with 600 tons lifting capacity, you're capable of lifting basically everything that can be transported. So just a quick one, what the cranes are capable of. Now, does such crane fit into every port? The answer is yes. We have several modularity possibilities that we are using. One would be the general mobile harbor crane. You see it here, it's a rubber tight undercarriage. The good thing about this one, you can drive it like a crawler, like on tracks, but with rubber tires, so you don't harm the surface. This crane can go into every angle. Maybe one very interesting point here, if you have 3 or 4 cranes or more in a row working, this one can just move perpendicular away from the pier, not interrupting any other equipment working there. So the maneuverability is one of the major points of this unit, and also with a width of only 6 meters without supporting beds, can basically travel to all ports everywhere in the world and all narrow stages. Secondly, we have the Liebherr portal slewing. You see, this is a mobile harbor crane. You see on top, it's still, you see the slewing platform and the tower and the boom. It's a bit cut off, but we're talking about the portal. So it's a tailor-made portal, which we can adapt to your need. It means what kind of gauge you have, rail gauge you have, what kind of height do you need. So what trucks do you need to pass below underneath the crane? What trains do you need? Or do you maybe have already a trailing hopper sitting on your rails that we can put it together with these cranes, with the portal? So one very good solution, if the rails are already existing, is this one. You see here the bogies. These are the rails, the contact to the rails where we have the wheels, the steel wheels, and we can adapt this also just to adapt this crane to every kind of force that is allowed on your rails. So further, Liebherr's fixed slewing crane. So basically here we cut off everything which is below the crane and just put it onto a pedestal. Very useful when we talk about very, very narrow piers, like you see in the picture, it's just a finger pier. In this case, it's working into a hopper. Later on, there will be a conveyor belt. But just imagine if you have this piece of finger pier, could also be perfectly used, or can also be perfectly used for transshipment. Just imagine one barge on the one side and the other the bigger vessel on the other side. You can just either transship dry bulk or containers or any other cargo. So without having basically a port, just a small finger pier. So one more application would be the barge crane. So you can not just put these cranes on land, it's not just a land-based crane. You can also just float it. This is very important. If you want to have a self-propelled barge, you can drive it to everywhere the crane is needed to work, or you can just have a floating pier to adapt to high tides. You see here the crane. This is a crane at the Amazonas, and if I remember right, the tide difference in the Amazonas can be 70 meters and plus. So you're very happy that your crane is floating and not at the land. Then the latest application and the last also, then I'm done, because basically we have covered everything that is of importance here, is the Liebherr portal mobile. And you see it combines the advantages of a portal, means you can pass through over obstacle, you can let trucks and trains pass below the portal, but it's on rubber tires. So you can move this crane as like a mobile harbor crane, but with the advantages of a portal. So what I just wanted to say with all the things, I wanted to say, I believe we have the most beautiful cranes in the world, also the most versatile and reliable cranes. We can adapt these cranes to every port in the world. They are running or are run everywhere, and basically in every country you can imagine. I think the only country which ocean connection that don't have an LHM is North Korea, I think. So these units we have made available for every kind of pier, even older piers, weaker piers, because they are that flexible. And if you want to know anything more, of course, you can contact me. I can advise further. And now one thing I mentioned in the beginning, what we do, these cranes are still made in Germany, here in Rostock. And not just made, but also developed. Steel processing, basically every shape you can imagine, like, I don't see that. Oh, yeah, yes, you see that. Like the tower, everything that we have here, the round shapes are produced here and welded here. So manufactured, fully assembled. This is a bit of a pity because I wanted to show you in the background we have the big test bench here. I wanted to show you our test bench and show that every crane that we are producing has been assembled here completely, fully tested. in order to have the quality insurance in our hands. And basically, after the production has been done, the crane has been assembled on the test field, you can basically just take the crane, drive it on the vessel, and drive it off, drive to your voyage to your port, and drive the crane off the vessel and start immediately working without long erection times. So customer service, we will hear from my colleague after this presentation, also based in Rostock as the headquarters. Of course, we have customer service hubs everywhere in the world to support every crane which is in operation from here to North America, Central America, everywhere, Asia. Training center, one very important point. If you're not familiar with mobile harbor cranes, don't be scared about it. I know it's a big machine and a lot of capabilities that you have, but before this crane will arrive at your port, you will be here or we are coming to you and we show you everything about the crane, which is the techniques inside. How can you handle the crane? So we don't even not only train your operators, but also your technicians. And in Rostock, we still have sales. So where I'm based as well. So that was all. I hope you share my excitement about this product. If you need any further information, I have just put here my contact details. So it would be andreas.ritschel@liebherr.com. My mobile number is also there, but please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. And I'm happy to answer all the questions that appeared, or maybe later you're very happy to out any connection that we can make here.
Thanks again for this very nice introduction from your side. I just want to show you something about customer service in Liebherr, Harbour mobile cranes and cranes in general, and also some advantages we faced during the Corona crisis. So this is a small outline. I will also try to be in time. So if I'm not in time, please interrupt me. Yeah. As I said, customer service introduction, we developed during the last 2 years a remote service tool, and we used it in June for assembling a new crane in Argentina. Yeah, our customer service, we are providing the services all over the world. As Andreas said, we have 40 subsidiaries all over the world. We have 400 engineers in place and 130 of them here in Rostock. They are for offshore crane, ship cranes, Harbour mobile cranes, and Reachstakers. And all our engineers are high skilled, high qualified. We are doing a factory training with them to bring them on the level we expected from our engineers in the field, and also what the customer expects from us. The first step, as Andreas mentioned, the first part of the customer service is the testing here in Rostock on the test bed. You can see it here on this picture. This is the factory in Rostock, direct in Überseehafen, in the port. We are doing our own testing procedure. We are testing all the electrical and hydraulic installations and components, and we do all adjustments. Then we are also responsible, or we are part of the shipment. As Andreas also said, it's possible to drive the cranes direct on the vessel. We can lift them. We can disassemble the crane. We can do partial disassembling. So it's up to the customer and how he wants to have the crane. Then we have our maritime training center with 2 simulators here in Rostock. We have 5 trainers at the moment for each type of crane. And we are doing several trainings like maintenance training, technical trainings, operator trainings. And this is not only if the customer is purchasing or buying the crane, it's also possible afterwards if he has some changes into his technical stuffs, that we can also do the training here or even on site. As I said, we have at the moment 408 experienced engineers. Our 40 service centers all over the world, and we are available all the time, or we have also a lot of service contracts in place. We are responsible for upgrades and retrofits. You can imagine that some ports get different advantages, and it's also possible to retrofit or upgrade the crane and even extend the lifetime. So and spare parts, We have here our production stock and also our spare part stock. We are available all the time. And just give me a short review into the past. For each crane, when we have to assemble a crane somewhere in the world, we send most likely 2 engineers from the factory into the field, into the world. And during this Corona crisis virus, which is still in place, we reduced our engineers from normally 40 in the world down to 1. So we had from March to June 1 engineer still in Africa supporting a customer, and we started to developing this kind of remote service tool 2 years ago, together with our colleagues from Lansing. It's possible to have audio and video call, a chat function, screen sharing, image and document exchange, and whiteboard functions. And it's in real time. You are always available. Everybody can speak, hear, shout, everything in time. And let me come to the success story of our remote tool. As I said in the introduction, we shipped LHM 420 to Argentina. It was the first LHM 420 in Argentina, so also pretty new machine for our colleagues. For sure, they have seen it here on a test bench when they have been in Rostock for the training, but they never assembled such a crane on their own. As I said, normally we are sending 2 engineers through the world, and in this time it wasn't possible. But the crane was on this way, and we had to find a decision how to manage the assembly works. And we are lucky to have this tool in place, and we decided, let's try. We can only win if this tool is working and our engineers are doing what they are doing. We started, and here you can see this is from the unloading of the parts. So the crane was totally disassembled, and one of our technical advisors here in the office, he made screenshots from above to make the assembly area clear. He wrote a 60-page long assembly instruction for our colleagues in Argentina, just to have something in their hand to prepare themselves for the assembling work. And you can see some pictures out of the tool. So you can see two mobile cranes lifting the slewing column on the undercarriage. So the main task was to organize Wi-Fi in the port, that we have a really good connection to have everything what we can see. And here you see our engineer. He was normally planned to go to Argentina to assemble the crane, and unfortunately he couldn't go there. But we asked him to make this project with our remote tool, and he said, okay, I will do. He adapted his working time to the Argentina time zone. There are time difference of 6 hours at the moment, so he was always available for our engineers on site, and guided them, told them, okay, you have to connect the cranes there. Please go there, check everything, that we are safe at all. Here are some slides out of this tool we took during the assembly work, just to show you how it looks like, how the picture or the video quality is, because it's a live stream, so it's a really good connection. And what is the summary of this advantage? We built the crane. I think we took 2 days more than expected, so we were really fast in time. We had no safety issues, nothing, no incident, nothing. And the customer was also happy, because there were only 2 decides. We put the crane in parts somewhere in stock and wait until we can travel, or we do this advantage and the customer is happy, he can use the crane now. Otherwise, the crane would be still disassembled somewhere in the stock. You can also follow the story about this assembly work and also about the remote tool on liebherr.com. So this is something what we would call service reliability in a very difficult time at the moment. So, and I think this is all of my presentation. I thank you.